Hey Internet, Sergeant, welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And don't worry, we still take time to celebrate America's birthday, but it doesn't mean we take the day off because we still have an action-packed show for you. We have some potential new cards from gas station chain and the Las Vegas hotel. We have American Express making some changes to a business card redemption options. And of course, we have Chase once again back in the news. They are setting a streak this week. We have the disappearance of the Freedom card, Freedom Flex, I should say, and of course we have them attacking referral offers on the ink side, something that hurts all of us very dearly. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now we will lead off with a new credit card in the market. That is WaWa, which I believe is a gas station convenience store type thing. I don't have them here in Michigan. I have seen them before. I feel like when I was out west, I've seen them, but I know it's popular. So they have a new credit card. Let's see if the credit card is going to be popular as well. So on screen, WaWa again, new credit card. Partner with FMBO, they do a lot of back end stuff on credit cards. So what are you looking at? Well, 50 cents off per gallon for the first 30 days. That's more like your intro offer. Then 5 cents off per gallon after that. You could also earn 3x points per $1 spent on WaWa purchases, excluding fuel at the pump. And of course, 1x back everywhere else. And then 2,500 points is going to get you a $25 WaWa gift card, which I guess that is the redemption, how you're redeeming them. So other than design, I do like the design. Apparently the logo's a bird. I don't know. Again, we don't have them here too much, but doesn't seem super helpful in the least bit, which is about what you would expect. I don't think any of these gas cards are really overly useful. I mean, as far as getting a $25 gift card, I assume it's one of those larger gas stations, like Speedway here would be the equivalent, where you go in and they sell food, sort of food, like hot dogs and pizza. Do you really want to do that? Probably not, but I'm not the biggest food person, so you never know. Either way, there's a new card. It's an option for you. I don't think it's very good. Doesn't do much of anything. I imagine it'll just be something for employees to bug you with if you go in. Now, something that could potentially be helpful, because we just don't know yet, is if you're headed to Vegas, you're doing a road trip, maybe don't go to WaWa, I guess, just fly there, it seems easier. But if you're going to stay at the Venetian, well, they potentially have a new credit card coming as well, because they are surveying rewards holders, loyalty program members, I should say. I don't have a ton of details, but compliments of our churning over on Reddit. This is what it looked like. So we're exploring an exciting new credit card program for guests of the Venetian Resort Las Vegas, and we need your help to make it exceptional. Your unique perspective is incredibly important as we look at benefits and features to consider. Then the main thing they asked about was annual choice benefit. What would you want? Choose one: airfare reimbursement, complimentary round of golf, Canyon Ranch Spa, plus fitness credit. None of those seem amazing. We don't really know. The thing about the choice benefit is they could be sort of amazing. It just depends on how much you'd have to spend or what you'd have to do to unlock the choice benefit. I'm most familiar with choice benefits. Some of the airline and hotel cards have them. I think it's mostly the Marriott comes to mind. And but you do significant amounts of spend. I think the funny one they have is you can get a mattress or something. So we have no idea if this is going to be any good or not, but they are surveying, which kind of makes sense. I mean, we've seen MGM, they've long since had a credit card. A while, maybe a month or two ago, they added another more higher tier card, you could say, to their catalog. And of course, they have the partnership with Hyatt. So if I'm down there, I'm Venetian, I'm, whoever the Wynn is under, whatever, all those other hotels, I'm like, why wouldn't we have a credit card? It just makes sense. So I guess the main thing would be what does it do for status? But, these places are so popular already, there's not really a reason for them to make status easy. So I don't think it'll really move the needle much. If you're already a power user of the Venetian, maybe it could be something there to push you over the top, or some nice benefits. But either way, we'll keep an eye on it. It's funny, they say I understand why they want to ask loyalty members, but that their perspective probably isn't the best. You probably should ask some experts. Happy to weigh in if anyone wants my 2 cents. Moving right along, as someone who never wants my 2 cents, no matter what, is American Express. Now, this is an older story, but in all the Chase drama, we kind of skipped over it. We did have it on Profitable Content. This is specific to the Business Platinum card. So we take a look at this. American Express is changing part of the redemption. So there's that 35% pay with points rebate on the Business Platinum when booking first and business class flights. So basically going forward, the points rebate will only count for cardholders at your selected airline. So it's not really a nerfing per se, but this does start effective. You can see the new language there, effective September 28th or September 18th of this year. Sorry, eligible flights will no longer include first and business class tickets booked on an airline that is not your selected qualifying airline. And by selecting a qualifying airline, what they mean is for that redemption, that airline incidental credit, you have to pick your airline as Delta, United, America. They have most of them, I think. So it's probably not that big of a deal. It seems petty. Like, I don't really think there's a need for this. My guess would be it's maybe a way to help appease their airline relationships of, hey, look, we can just lock this down, and maybe it sends you a little bit more business perhaps. I don't know why American Express would really care about you, where you sent your points to or what you use your points to buy, so long as you're going through the portal and using American Express product. So I'm going to guess maybe they had this in their back pocket to appease some of the airlines of, hey, look, we're just trying to make loyalty a little bit more tighter perhaps. So that's my guess. I don't even think most people here would redeem membership reward points, but with that 35% rebate, it could potentially be worth it. I've never done it, but I did it for a hotel once, and it was not the best of redemptions. But anyways, there you go. Be aware of that. Now we move once again to Chase to bring us home. So there's 3 stories. So when we talk about the Sapphire cards, once again, one of the things we talked about was the language, and I did just sit down and record 2 videos for the Sapphire Personal and the Sapphire Business on the second channel, Run on the Bank, that will be going this coming week. If you haven't already been inundated with people begging you to sign up, we will have those out for you this week. But part of the language, and this was, I think, View from the Ring brought this front and center. But you can see here, what he's saying is there's potential lifetime language now in the Sapphire card. So what you have on the top is the old language, right, which clearly had the 48 months, between Sapphire churns. Now, the bottom one is the new one. It says this credit card is unavailable to you if you currently have one. That's normal. The new card member bonus may not be available to you if you currently have any other personal Sapphire cards open, previously held this card, or received a new card member bonus for this card. So that's really the part that's kind of, they say maybe. So, I've seen people, having recently applied for the Sapphire Preferred 100K, getting blocked from getting this card. That kind of makes sense because we just gave you 100,000 to your customer. Why do I want to give you another 100,000? Basically, I can see that, but they're kind of leaving it open. Like, you could have both, maybe not. We don't really know what you want to do, which again plays into pop-up jail, which we covered last week, what the pop-up jail thing look like for them, where it's basically Amex's version, where like, hey, we might still give you the card, but we're not giving you the offer. Again, makes no sense right now to have both Sapphire cards, but I do believe they're going to refresh the Sapphire Preferred next year, closer to when everyone who just got the 100K is about ready to renew. So that came out in like April. So I think maybe February, March of next year, we could see a refreshed Sapphire come out. We don't need to get into what it would have. I still think it'd be about $150, and they may make it more complimentary to the Big Brother card, so it could be worth having. That was originally what I thought. This kind of just gives them more room to like, hey, no, we're not going to give it to you. So it could definitely be lifetime language to replace the 48-month rule. I would prefer, say what you will about Amex, but at least Amex is kind of like clear, like, no, it's once per lifetime. The vagueness is kind of annoying, but anyhow, 2 more things. So if you do want a Sapphire, if you want an Ink card or a Sapphire Business, good news, bad news. Good news is I can get you one now because the Sapphire Business is now included in the Ink referral links as well, which is good because I don't have affiliate links. And no, honestly, like, it's really, you have to really try to sell credit cards, and by try, I mean you got to be really annoying about it, because these videos are made for people who already have the card. Sapphire Business may be a bit of an exception because it's a brand new card, but for the most part, referral links are just kind of a nice to have. They look nice on the website. Occasionally I get a sale or 2 here or there. But the main thing is I do like how Chase does it, because you can refer through product family. So I have a Freedom Flex. I can still refer you to Freedom Unlimited, a Freedom Student, and like the other one, the Edge card, I believe it's called as well. So now they've also added Sapphire into the Ink line. So if you look at this, you can see if you were to use my link, you could, or anyone's link really, you could get any one of the 4 Ink cards plus the Sapphire Business, which is nice. But the game give, the game take. So there's a new change coming with referral links specific for the Ink line here with Chase. So effective October 7th, you will be eligible to receive referral bonus awards for new Chase business card customers only. Referrals for individuals with existing Chase business card accounts will no longer qualify for the referral bonus. That was from the Dr. Credit who found that. That's one of those rules. What they're basically saying is it's not uncommon what we just talked about. It really, like, we all have the same credit cards, right? Everyone here knows about the Ink Cash. You probably keep that one and maybe have uses for the other ones or not. But we refer one another. That's the point of my channel members Discord, of like referring one another, right? And so what Chase is saying is like, hey, why would I pay for to acquire an existing customer? So if I had an Ink Cash card, I could not use your referral link and get an Ink Unlimited, or you wouldn't. I could use it. Somewhat unclear. I would assume I would still get the promotional offer. You would not get any referral. So, that does kind of that probably kills most Ink referrals, honestly, because most people doing that are in this type of group, right? It definitely kills I'm going to refer my wife or girlfriend or what have you, or vice versa, that people like to do. A lot of times when these new cards come out, like the Sapphire Business, people like to wait, see if it gets added to the referral link program. And even if the offer is a little bit shorter, if you're like married or, traveling together, what have you, new offer plus referral might combine, make it better than the normal offer. So this is one of those things where I get why they did it. I don't even necessarily think it's unfair. It's just one of those things like, man, that sucks. And the issuers do seem to be on one right now of kind of like battening down the hatches or cracking down. I think it's very akin to like Netflix and password sharing. Everything is all well and good. Share, like, it happens. It gets out of hand, but like, whatever, we'll be the cool company. You guys just keep sharing passwords. Then all of a sudden, we got to trigger growth somehow or savings. Like, all right, well, we're not doing this anymore, right? And on one hand, you've just been getting away with it for a really long time. They've always known about it. So I can see why they would do this. I'm not even saying it's unfair. I'm just saying it follows a trend of them going through and removing a lot of affiliate partners, going through and making it a lot harder for people to talk about them. That one had more to do with lawsuits and, people wanting to sue to get to them, but still they were more than happy to let it ride for so long. So I think we're just in one of those moments where it's cyclical, right? Because again, a year or two ago, the Ink 900s were out forever, and they knew what people were doing. I knew people in our Discord group, they were going every 30 days for Ink cards and like nothing. So, it sucks, but I think this one is kind of fair if I'm trying to be somewhat objective about it. So, of course, you let me know down below what you think about that. My biggest concern now is how long before that spreads to the personal line of things, right? Because it's just on the Ink cards right now. And, of course, with the Ink, I did have someone ask, like, could you potentially, would that work around, like, do the EIN where you can apply one as a sole prop and another as an EIN? The problem with it, we won't know for sure, but the problem is, one, now pop-up jail still knows who you are. Well, they've always known who you are through the social security number, so I would guess if you're referring the same business owner, it probably wouldn't work. We'll just have to see how strict they are with it. But where I was going with that thought was, before I had that other thought, is how long before this spreads to the personal lineup as well? I would imagine it won't be too long because the same principles apply. Why am I planning to acquire the same customer that I already had? But right now looks just for business credit cards and not just if you have a business checking. So the last story is, where in the world is the Freedom Flex? Well, it's still on the application page for Chase. It's still, if you click the little icon I have on profitable content, which is a referral link, it still takes you to the Freedom page. Freedom Flex page, but it looks like the apply button is gone from the main website. I think you can still apply through the referral, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But either way, Freedom Flex is no longer pause on application. So this came from Reddit. Basically what this is, yes, you can't do that. I can't apply right now. And interestingly enough, someone had phoned in and they tried to downgrade from a Sapphire Reserve to the Flex, and they weren't given the option. That does suck, because then you're talking about now you've got to move to a Freedom Unlimited. I guess you could product change later. Maybe they knew about the OG Freedom. They probably did. I hear you can still do that if you find the right person who will do it. But anyhow, what does it mean? Entirely possible, probably nothing, because they didn't take it down from the website. They just paused application. So to me, that seems more like they're just maybe doing something in the back end, balancing the portfolio, something wrong with the product itself. I don't really know, obviously, but that's no fun. So to close out the show, if they were going to relaunch the Freedom Flex, like, what could they do? Because it has been 5 years. It came out in 2020, right? 2020, 21, something like that. It was like one of the last few cards before the Venture X, like before there was like a massive deal. The Freedom Flex, the Custom Cash, the Venture X. I'll throw Wells Fargo in there, but I know that they don't get a ton of love. So the only thing I can really think of is, I mean, I would love to make it so you don't have to opt into the categories every time, but that's not going anywhere. I do think they need to raise the limit from $1,500 a quarter to $2,500. That would match things like the Bank of America Customized Cash Card, the U.S. Bank Cash Plus. So it would make it a little bit more competitive in that space. Again, I go back to, could you make it more complementary, to the Big Brother cards, Preferred and Reserve? The 5X, let's just assume that stays. But, I've never thought the drugstore credit was that great. There are some places in America, like whatever, you're walking around a big city like New York, or even when I was like DC long ago, it does seem like you and more so end up stopping into CVS's and Walgreens and corner stores than you do around here. But then again, maybe it's just walkable versus not walkable. I've never thought that one's particularly helpful. The 3X on dining isn't bad, but there's some duplication with the other cards. I think the biggest thing I would like to see is really, I think the rotating category things are about dead. And we have talked about this on a separate video. I think the custom cash really killed rotating category cards, but the answer used to be get more freedom cards. That's why I have 5. Now it's getting more customized cash cards. So if they did anything, wishful thinking, I would say make it into a version of the custom cash, which I believe is originally how the Freedom launched. It was one of those, hey, you spend a lot and we'll give you 3X on your top category. I think that would be amazing. That would fix it instantly, and I think that would change how we look at Chase once again. But I don't think any of that's going to happen, unfortunately. But if you ask me what they should do, that would be it. I think the rotating category thing has kind of run its course, because even again, U.S. Bank, you get to pick. Bank of America, you get to pick. So, you're talking about those. The custom cash, obviously, you can force pick, by just being intentional. So it really just leaves Discover and Chase kind of out there. And I think the rotating thing is past. So that would be my look to fix it. But of course, we'll keep an eye on it. Let me know down below what you would like to see them do to the Freedom Flex as well. And of course, if you need a Sapphire Reserve business, let me know. I got you. I do want one. I just don't yet have 30 grand in spend. But I did get like $12,000 in property tax bills the other day, so it might be closer than you think over 6 months. But anyways, guys, that'll do for us. So, of course, happy birthday weekend to America. If you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. Of course, right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And, of course, every single day over on Profitable.content.com. As we've said, the channel's blog is always linked down below for you, and on the channel homepage, we not only have the latest news stories just like all of these, we have bank promotions if you want to double up the bank, and of course we have credit card offers as well. So we just don't beat you over the head with them like everyone else, but we have them. We'd love for you to check them out. But anyways, guys, that'll do for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.